Hey, I'm Dukes on Twitch. If you want to support the channel and greensunzenith.com, you can find my Patreon, merch store, and singles store where you can buy singles through TCG Player or Card Hoarder in the video description. If you want to get in contact, you can also find all that info in the description below for things like donation deck lists or just wanting to reach out. Alright, let's get right into it. Hey team, welcome back to Dukes on Twitch. Back today with a deck that I haven't played in a little while. This is Legacy Humans. Eddie and Reaplecheap recently did pretty well with this black-white build. Eddie changing a few little things, but pretty similar. For those of you who are unaware, Eddie Zamora is a huge Legacy Humans proponent, probably the biggest name in the Legacy Humans community, and has recently come back from a small break, I believe, and has just kind of started where he left off, which is obviously doing very well with the deck, which is cool. One thing you will note about this list, and also Reaplecheap's list, who also 5-0'd, is that you don't see any of the sort of unclaimed territories or ancient Ziggurat lands in this build. You're making way for things like Ejano, Seat of the Empire, a few basic lands, which is really nice, a few fetch lands as well, and then just the full set of Wastelands and Caverns still, so pretty sweet. If you don't follow Eddie, you definitely should. I believe you'll also find him in the Legacy Humans Discord, and Reaplecheap is just, yeah, a really solid Legacy player that puts together some really good finishes, not just with curses, what you might know Reaple for, but this is Eddie's list, and I'm a huge fan. So what this deck is trying to do is win through combat. It is a pretty fair deck. So you want to have cards like Thalia, like Kitesail Freebooter, and even Orza Pontiff in a way to stop some of the combo decks from going off. Esper Sentinel is a really nice card, especially in this list, because you do have ways of actually making it bigger than a 1/1 with Thalia's Lieutenant, Luminarch Aspirant, General Kudrow, which is really nice. So I think that if you are going to play Esper Sentinel in Legacy, there's a lot of cool builds for it, but Humans is probably the best build for its potential, because you're probably going to be drawing a lot more cards off it, because your opponent is not going to be able to pay 2 or 3 each time they cast a spell. So really, really cool. Hey Vegeta. A huge thank you to Juan, who actually donated to the channel and wanted me to see if I could play Eddie's list. So here we are, to Juan. A huge thank you once again. And I will actually be trying out a blue-white list in a few days as well, just to see how that's performing. But with two obviously very good players doing well with this list, I wanted to try it out and see how it goes. Because it's a sweet deck. Like, Humans is a really fun deck. It's really good for learning sequencing and just enjoying it. So very cool. Hey Panda, a huge thank you. 17 months is really nice. A huge thank you for your list the other day as well. We had some fun playing combo on stream, which is nice. So I kind of felt like I needed to detox, and I feel like black-white Humans is a great way to detox there. So a huge thank you. And to Vegeta, I hope you're doing well in COVID quarantine. That would be really tough. So I hope you're out soon. Maybe playing some paper magic. We'll go to gameplay. Nice. Oh, it's been a big week. I'm week 2 into a new job, which is awesome. Really enjoying it, which is cool. Great people, great office. I'm working remotely, but get to go down in a few weeks to the office and meet some people, which is cool. So yeah, until then, it's nice to have that little bit of mix still with Magic, but obviously not going to be streaming as much as I was on my break. So looking forward to that. New job. So I work in search engine optimization. So I'm an SEO, and I'm working for a company called Finder, which is a big comparison site in Australia. It's also in the US and a few other countries, focusing on the home loans vertical, and yeah, hopefully helping them get some organic traffic. Which is pretty cool. fun fact, I used to work for a competitor of them, and it was kind of a work project to start a website to really understand how a site's built and all the intricacies of it. And that work project was the Green Sun Zenith, which is pretty awesome. Pretty cool. They wanted me to build a site about something that I liked, and at the time I was playing Maverick, so I was like, hey, let's build a Maverick site. And here we are. What, nearly 3 years? Yeah, coming up to 3 years, Green Sun Zenith, which is pretty awesome. 2018, 2019, 3.5, 4. Yeah, 3 years. Crazy how time flies. But yeah, cool to see humans doing really well. I know some people on YouTube, shout out to you guys, I knew you were watching, wanted some more humans content, which is cool. I'm going to do some recordings of D&T as well. I think for getting back into D&T, I'd much rather record it than stream it, just to make sure that I am focused and playing pretty well, because it's just one of those decks that when you come back to, you really want to be focused in with no distractions. Not that chat is a distraction. If anything, it's a good type of distraction. But I think I'll start with a few leagues recorded and then come to the stream with a solid, I guess, main deck 80, 95 card list. Thanks to either Jason or John, two guys that are obviously leading the way with D&T. Hey, Elo. Yeah, humans, I think, is just... it's underrated. I think Prismatic Ending was pretty tough because it is a deck that gets hit pretty hard by Prismatic Ending, either through creatures or Aether Vial. But, for now, just hopefully going to play through it. And the nice thing about a deck like Humans is just the deck is just so consistent. Like 4 of, 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 like pretty much 4 of here. And like Brutal Cathar is really interesting, which is a new card I should have gone over. So Brutal Cathar is a 3-drop 2/2. When this creature enters the battlefield or transforms into Brutal Cathar, so transforms back, exile target creature and opponent controls until this creature leaves the battlefield, which is really cool. So it's a great way to get rid of constructs, being tokens that don't actually get them back. And then just as a removal spell, it's quite nice as well. So, if I can get rid of a Murktide, I'd be pretty happy. Especially because if I take out a Murktide that say is a 6/6, and then they get back the Murktide, it's just a 3/3, which is really cool. So a little bit of play to it there. But interestingly, a 4-minute wait on a league. I haven't been in this position for a long time. I thought people would be running to Legacy, but maybe with the recent banning of Lurrus in Modern, people are trying to see what's happening in Modern. Tough. Gonna find some play time for Maverick as well. Haven't played Maverick in a little while now. It's always tough juggling different archetypes and like getting back to ones. But yeah, really want to start getting a little bit more of a structure to when I publish my content. I still have a lot of content to publish on YouTube. Just sitting there in the waiting, because I did so many sort of back-to-back streams when I had time off that I kind of just kept them there to make sure I could span it out a bit, which is a little bit rough because some of the content is still like pre-Ragavan. All right, we are on the play, and we have a pretty nice hand. So we have a turn 1 Vial, off a basic, and then turn 2 we actually have Cavern into Kite Sail, which is really nice, especially if we're up against a non-creature build. Otherwise, we have Luminarch to make our creatures pretty big, and Brutal Cathar to deal with any creatures, so pretty happy to keep this. Don't think it could get too much better. It's nice to also have Clearing as the 3rd land, because I think humans can run off 3 to 4 lands at most, so being able to, in the mid to late game, turn the Silent Clearing hopefully into another spell, be pretty happy. I'm just going to lead on the Swamp as well. There is a world where you could lead on the If I really wanted to, I could lead on the Cavern and name Goblin, and then play Aether Vial, because all my lands can cast all my spells, so I don't actually need the coloured mana from Cavern, but I think that's a bit of an IQ play that isn't really worth it, especially if I draw into a creature that needs double. I actually don't think we're playing anything with double, which is actually kind of cool. Huh. Interesting. Opponent having a pretty good think. But yeah, I think we're just looking at Swamp into Vial. Cavern most likely if it's a blue deck into Kite Sail. Yeah, Uncounterable is pretty pretty great. Especially if we see a force here, we don't. But another reason to not lead on the Cavern of Souls is if they see Cavern and Vial, they might not force the Vial because they know that they can't really force the creatures anyway, so they might as well just keep it for maybe another non-creature spell, or not too fond themselves. Hey Echo, hey Joanne. Yeah, it's been doing really solid. I'll put in the chat some recent finishes with the deck that did really well. So Trop Pass. My first inclination is Infect with just Trop Pass, but we'll see. Planes. I think because it's a blue deck, I'm still happy to go for Cavern here. I will name Human. And have a look at my opponent's hand. What I don't want to see is, I guess they could Brainstorm. Yeah, that's fair. Like crop into Inkmoth and just see like a hand I can't beat. Interesting. So it's between Ponder Brainstorm here, and because of the fetch land, there isn't really a difference. There is, because I think the Brainstorm's just more powerful here because you can put spells back, of course. So I think it's just going to be take Brainstorm, allow them to have the Ponder, or hold up Ice Fang. Obviously, if this game goes long as well, let's start here. Then the Brainstorm only gets more powerful. So we know these cards. Taking the Brainstorm also means that they can't just straight away kind of make our knowledge of what they have in hand negligible. Negligible? I've had a long day. But yeah, I like that if they don't have Brainstorm, then they don't really have a way to hide what they have in hand anymore. I'm always going to activate Vials as well. I think anyone should. It at least makes them think. And it means that when we do have something, then they might not even think we have something. So that's always nice. Ooh. General's actually pretty nice here. It's a great way to answer Uro. So I'm not sure if I want to play it right now and give the Kite Sail. It's actually pretty interesting. They're obviously holding up the Ice Fang, but it doesn't have Death Touch now. I think I'm pretty happy to jam the General here. And then I'll also play Luminarch off the Vial. I might... yeah, that's fine. This is at the beginning of combat, so I'll do it in my first main phase. I was going to say that is there a world where I can attack and they can fetch, and then we can put in the Luminarch to trigger the general, but I need to do this before combat, so... But general are a really nice draw here. I will put it on the kite sail. So they're going to fetch now. Sure. Oh, no. Sorry. Sorry, team. I just accidentally clicked one. Trigger happy. Trigger happy. Definitely should have attacked. Hopefully that 3 damage doesn't come back to bite us. At least if they go Uro here, we get to play the Brutal Cathar, take out the Ice Fang, and then exile the Uro as well. Yeah, just one of those things that happens on MTGO when you can skip through a turn or a sequence, unfortunately, but that's life sometimes. It makes it more of a challenge, so I'm not too unhappy about that. If they have a... okay, they're just going to ponder. Alright. See what the ponder does. I wonder if they run like a main deck removals. Like, they don't have white in play for Terminus, and they don't have double white for Supreme Verdict. So I'm not too scared of a sweeper, which is nice. They chose to shuffle, which is pretty nice for us. I think I will also tick this vial up to 3, because then if we draw a 2-drop, we can still play it and also hold up mana and draw off Silent Clearing. So having 4 mana is really nice, because it means we can put in a 3-drop of the vial, and then also if we draw into like Caracas, just having this on 3 for general to keep it alive from targeted removal is really strong. The uncounterability of Eighth Vial isn't too much of a factor because of the Cavern of Souls, but definitely something to think about. Opponent also taking a fair while to move between turns, so I'm not sure if they're having a bit of lag, but they're already down 4 minutes, which is probably going to be relevant in a matchup that I would say is pretty grindy. Hey. Hey, Lernan, welcome. Hope you're well. Hope you're having a nice week. All right. This goes up. We know about the Snow-Covered Forest as well. It's in play. Wasteland's pretty nice here. Opponent just on their phone. There we go. All right. I'm going to start with Vial. Exile the Uro. Take out the Ice Fang. I will Wasteland this turn. And then I'm probably happy just to build up the Luminarch Aspirant here. Just to keep the threats all pretty much the same sort of threat in regards to power level. That it makes my opponent hard to deal with, like, you know... I don't want to put them all in... I don't want to put all my eggs in one basket, is what I'm trying to say. I don't want, like, one Prismatic Ending being the out that my opponent needs. They probably start with Uro here. Hey Shen, welcome. This is black-white. I know, no green. Not a single green card, I believe. Not even like a free one. Yeah, it actually is kind of weird to be playing a deck with, I guess D&T is another one, but a deck with no green is not too familiar with this channel, I will say, over the past few months. But yeah, this is an interesting matchup. I'm going to assume they're... To be fair, this doesn't have to be Bant. It could potentially be blue-green Show and Tell, because that deck in the past has run Uru and Ice Fang, and it actually is going to be Show and Tell. Crazy, just as I was talking about it. I think in that case, it would have been better for me to draw a card off the Silent Clearing than Wasteland, because they really only care about having 3 mana. Oh, but actually, we do get to beat Shared Summons because we get to put in a land here and have access to, yeah, sacrificing 2 creatures to get rid of the, huh. Now this is interesting. I am just going to draw a card here. Because I could draw into Caracas, which is a nice out to the Grizzle. Or I could draw a creature like that. It's pretty good. So we will not tick this up. Mum. Well, they can't really draw here, which is really nice for us. Comes in... Really? Does it... Really? Did I just do a massive punt? If you put this in a vial, it comes in as Moonrage Brute? Is that how it works? I had no idea that is how it works. When this creature enters the battlefield or transforms into Brutal Cathar, exile target creature. Because it's night? Wow. That's pretty huge. That's pretty huge, yeah. Yeah, that's just one thing to definitely to learn from. Three. Oh, they're going to try to force it. Sure. Well, it can't be countered. We'll take out the Show and Tell. And then I think we can still get there if they're at 11 now. 3, 6. Yeah, because we can use Kudra's ability. Oh, these aren't humans? Ah, Clark. Tough. Oh, no. I still think it's very correct just to... I guess we go to combat first with this trigger on the stack. Just to get some value off it. Choose this. Get rid of these two. Put them down to 1. Now they have 2 cards left, including an Uro. Preordain, okay. Yeah, wow. I definitely didn't know about that interaction, and I should have. Okay, a little bit lucky there, but we will take it. So blue-green Omni. I do like the deafening silences. I don't mind Compals. I think Compals are just a nice switch with Orzhov Pontiff. The Cathars are nice. The champions are fine. I could see a Jano coming out as just a one-of. I don't want to go too far down on lands, but I think that's okay. I do like the Cathars. Marineberg Trap's definitely interesting, but usually it's just like Show and Tell, Cunning Wish, Shared Summons. I guess Trap could work. If it is that. Because it has to be 3. I guess you also have Cantrip, Show and Tell, Cunning Wish, which is pretty interesting. I don't think the aspirants are too slow. I think I can drop a general. It's nice to have 2 for Uro and just the buff effect as well. And the effect to actually destroy something. Maybe it's there nearly. Cathar's pretty interesting as well as just a nice way to interact with Omniscience. I'm going to drop down on Mums. I don't mind this. I don't think the traps are where I want to be. Blue-green Omni doesn't usually play Lotus Petal, so unlike the blue-red versions, Mindbreak Trap is a little less online. I think the champions and the Esper Sentinels are still pretty good. Yeah, Brutal Cathar is just kind of nice because it gets rid of the cards that I want. Like an Ice Fang or an Uro if it's in play. But I could see it coming out. Or just down, seeing that we have a bit more hate. Hey, Onion Lotus. Pioneer Humans, very cool. It could just be the Ajano. Just as a maybe I just can't afford not having a mana source. See how this goes. I think having like the Thalias, the Kite Sails are really nice, and the Deafening Silences are really going to be really strong, so pretty happy to see how this goes. But Mindbreak Trap's definitely interesting. It's just that this version's usually slower than the other Show and Tell decks, so they don't always kind of need that sort of start. This hand's really nice. Pretty big fan. Like, we have a turn 1 play in Deafening Silence, which is nice. We could go for Esper Sentinel if we're really scared of something else, but it's pretty good. Hey, thanks, Shen. All the best. Enjoy work. Hopefully it's going well. Friday tomorrow, so pretty happy about that. We'll keep this. Opponent kept 7 as well. Ponder. Best day of the week? Best day of the week is Monday. Because you have to make the most of it. Because usually you have Monday blues, so it kind of forces you to... like Friday, it's pretty easy to be in a good mood on a Friday. But if you can get yourself in a mindset to be in a good mood on a Monday... They chose to shuffle. Okay. Obviously didn't find what they're looking for. Kite Sail's interesting here. I'm still going to start with Plains, Deafening Silence, and then most likely go Freebooter down the road. There is a world where Esper Sentinel's just better. Turn 1, and I should have played the Cavern. I think Silence is fine. Silence is really nice with Show and Tell, because it means we can Kite Sail Freebooter in off Show and Tell, and they can't cast Cunning Wish in response, and we can actually take the Cunning Wish. Because right now we have multiple answers to creatures that come into play off Show and Tell. So not too unhappy there. Hey Yuri, thanks for the follow. Hope you're doing well. Brainstorm. Well, this is their spell for the turn. I wonder if we just want to Kite Sail now. Just to make sure they don't have a Show and Tell in hand. Another Brainstorm. Okay. So they do have double Show and Tell. I think I'm still happy to take one. Yeah, because I kind of can beat one, but the second's a little bit rough. I assume they put a creature on top. It could be Omniscience, but Omniscience isn't as great with Deafening Silence. I think here as well, I'm happy to put in the Caracas. It also builds up my mana, which is kind of nice, so I can then start two-spelling. I think Caracas here is better than putting in Brutal Cathar. Because if they have Omniscience, then it is a bit of a miss to put in the Brutal Cathar. At least with the Caracas, it allows me to next turn Sentinel and Thalia's Lieutenant, which is nice. Turak's definitely interesting. Especially with the, I think it is Caracas. Okay. But now I need to find a pretty good answer for this. Okay. I'll start with Sentinel. So they're going to Brainstorm, that's fine. So thankfully silence is only non-creature spell. So we don't actually get hit by it, which is pretty sweet. Luminarch is just best here. Is Luminarch better than Thalia's Lieutenant? I don't think so. It might actually be Thalia's Lieutenant. So they both allow us to attack for 2 this turn, putting them to 15. But the upside of Thalia's Lieutenant is it adds an additional 1 for Esper Sentinel. And then untap the Luminarch, then kind of double triggers the Thalia's Lieutenant, which is nice. It definitely is Lieutenant. Yeah, maybe it is. And just kind of hope in the top 3 there wasn't a... Don't say it. I'm not even going to say it. But we know... We know what it is. Mum spaghetti? Yeah. Oh, okay. Not too bad. I guess Omniscience is kind of annoying because they get to play around the Esper Sentinel a little bit. They do have to pay 2 mana for it though, which is kind of nice. All right. Really hope it's 2 to the bottom. Hey Jig, welcome. 1 top, 1 bottom. Oh, 1 top, 1 bottom pass. Huh. Okay. Still pretty nice. Is there a world where playing... No, I think I just want to 2-spell this turn. Yeah. I'm probably happy to throw the Mum out and then make sure the Luminarch comes down. Any chance Wasteland build up Esper Sentinel so you can draw is correct. Sadly, Wasteland doesn't hit basics. But otherwise, really nice to be able to pressure their mana so they can't actually draw. I will pay for the I will get the Sentinel up this turn. Just to keep that tax building. Sadly, Wasteland isn't strip. Alright, we kind of got a 2-turn clock. 2, 5, 8. Yeah. But they did put a card on top. I feel like if it was Grizzlebrand, they would have played it and just drawn to try to draw into Emrakul, even though we have the Karakas out. Because the Emrakul just gets through Karakas with the Omniscience. So I'm not too sure what they kept. Yeah, it could potentially be like a ponder to keep them digging. I mean, we have so many permanents now that is an Emrakul attack really that bad? Like if we keep... Yeah, it's not, which is pretty nice. 2, 4, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah. So we get to keep 4. So we get to keep lethal anyway. Return to nature. Interesting. Okay. Well, that's their spell for turn. And they have to pay 3. Emrakul gives them a second turn, so they get like pseudo haste with the Emrakul. So we go to 5, we sacrifice. Ah, they're targeting that. Ah, okay, that makes sense. All right. Well, now Cunning Wish is definitely a line that they could get to, which is pretty tough. Oh, actually, no, Cunning Wish doesn't really matter. I guess it's tough because... No, because we still have the Crackers for the Grizzlebrand off Shared Summon, so it's going to be tough for them to find a win here. Outside of a Firemind's Foresight line with the Ant card, but they're digging. There's Cunning Wish. Two, 4. Yeah, Shed Summons is fine. So they find Emrakul Grizzlebrand. Sure. They play Grizzle. Uro. Uro is definitely annoying. How is it fine? Well, it's fine because next turn they attack for 21. We return the Grizzlebrand. We take 15, go to 5. But then I thought we might have lethal on the way back, which we would have. Because we can sack enough creatures. But yeah, now they're just going off, which is unfortunately. Yeah, if they just had the shared summons into these two creatures, we're good. So we get to keep the Caracas. Yeah, it would have been tough because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we get to keep 3. So I guess we keep these. And then we can still, like, in our turn, return Grizzlebrand. But it's definitely pretty tough. Yeah. Yeah, the Uro and the Ice Fang really were really brutal. On the play, which is nice. General Cabal. My only thought is the Mindbreak traps. Just because of those lines of like Show and Tell, Cunning Wish, Shared Summons, hit Shared Summons, or like Cantrip, Show and Tell, Cunning Wish. The nice thing about the blue-white builds is that you can actually hardcast the Mindbreak traps, but otherwise they're not doing too much. And it kind of works against what we're trying to achieve with the Deafening Silences, but we did see Return to Nature there, so... I don't mind trying it out. I'm going to go down on one mum and then one Janjo on the play. Yikes. A one-lander, and I'm never a fan of having the one-landers, so pretty happy to mulligan. If this was a plains, it would be tougher, but I'd really want to have 2 lands, at least for the Kite Sail. Sounds actually not too bad. Pretty happy to probably just keep double Cavern and drop the Marsh Flats here. Yeah, I think Mindbreak Trap is just better than some of the cards in the deck. Yeah. But I probably wouldn't say that it's a card that's in the sideboard for Show and Tell. But yeah. Yeah, I think we're just dropping Marsh here. Maybe not. Maybe I keep the Marsh and drop a Cavern just because if we draw into Deafening Silence, I want to be able to cast it. Yeah, that's a pretty good... Yeah. Exactly. Chat's on it. And it's just going to be Marsh Flats pass. Chat saw it. Nice. Okay. It's pretty nice for us. There's a wasteland target. Ponder's nice here as well, because it means our opponent doesn't hold up Brainstorm in response to Kite Sail. I haven't actually cast a Cathar Commando yet in paper or online, so this will be pretty nice. There is something symbolic that you have a Cathar to destroy Omniscience. Yeah, pretty sweet card. It does look though, however, if you look at the artwork, she's going through like a jungle, so it looks like a greenish card. Like there should be like a green/white hybrid and one. But yeah, very cool to see. What's with these humans wanting to get through the jungle? Like, is it really that hard to cut through trees? They chose to shuffle. All right. I'm pretty happy just to get the planes out of the deck. That's definitely interesting as well. I think I'm okay with Champion this turn. And Wasteland. We still can, like, our hand is perfect off 2 mana as well. And they did shuffle off the Ponder. So there is a world where here, yeah, they're kind of tied on the, tied on blue mana, which is quite nice. Eureka. Interesting. So they do have City of Traders. All right. So they have Force, which you don't care about. They have Eureka and Show and Tell. I think I'm pretty happy to take... It could just be the Ponder to slow them down. If they find a fetch land, they can get a Trop, which turns on Eureka and Show and Tell. So the Ponder does have, like, some role. I currently don't care about Force, which is nice because of the Cavern of Souls in play. The only reason I would take the Force is potentially if I'm going to draw into Deafening Silence, and I don't want them to be able to force that. I think it's Ponder, just because Show and Tell and Eureka are kind of the same thing, especially with the mana in play. But it's tough, because if I draw into another hand disruption spell, like another Kite Sail, if I take Show and Tell now and then Eureka with the next one, then they're in a bit of strife. We got a lot of time, which is nice. I think it's just a Ponder. But yeah, it's just it's tough because if they find the mana to cast the Ponder, then they can cast the Show and Tell anyway. Yeah, I think Ponder's just the safe bet. What I really want next turn is an extra land, so I can go Esper Sentinel and Thalia's Lieutenant. Ooh, they found a Mystic Sanctuary. Silent Clearing. We're definitely playing the clearing. And I think we're still just going for Esper Sentinel into Thalia's Lieutenant. And I think I'd rather play the Thalia's Lieutenant off the Cavern of Souls and allow them to force the Esper Sentinel. But there is a world where I'd rather draw the extra card off Sentinel, and therefore it's the creature that I really want. Sadly, Cathar doesn't... I'd rather get damage onto the table here. And Thalia's Lieutenant adds an additional, I guess, 3 in total, but... I think we'll start with the Esper. Yeah, there is a world where they could pitch the Uro, but it's a tough world. So we get in for 7. Yeah, thankfully Cathar can still come in here, which is pretty nice. City. They go for show and tell. We do get to draw off this, which is nice. We could draw into a removal creature, but it would have to be pretty good. Vile. So we do get 2 draws next turn, which is pretty nice. All right, it's got to be Caracas. I mean, we just have to draw a card here, right? I probably get a free attack here with the... I think I attack here with the champion. If I attack with champion, they block. They can pay 7 and draw 7, but which is pretty tough because they have the Eureka still, which they can most likely cast next turn. But to be fair as well, I'm not really winning this game if I don't attack. Like, they just get to draw 4, untap, or draw 7, untap, draw for turn, and then kind of go off that way as well. So I think, yeah. All right. Yeah, there's a world where Eureka can help us. That's very true. They will have 1 mana floating off the city potentially as well, but it is of obviously 2 here. Oh no, because the Eureka will cost 5, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 off the land they play. So yeah, we will get to draw a card off the Sentinel, which is nice. A lot of cards in hand. We know about Eureka, Uro, Force. Tough. Opponent also in the red, so I think 2 minutes 30 is more than enough to win with Show and Tell here, but or with Eureka, sorry. Because we currently have 2, 4, 7, 10, 12 damage in play, which is lethal, but we do know about Uro, so it's not lethal. Unless we draw into another Thalia's Lieutenant, or a general, potentially. But opponent definitely making sure their line is correct before they go off. A minute 50. A little bit of suspense here, which kind of always happens with on Show and Tell day, at least, with what I've learned from school. So fine trop. Dude's still on the phone. What do we draw? Ooh. Okay. Ah, they can put more lands in? That's pretty cool. Interesting. I wonder if they can draw into the lands to like bring back Uro as well. Yeah, really cool artwork, Eureka. Unfortunately, quite narrow in the legacy decks that it goes in, and very expensive, so I don't own one, but pretty sweet card. Two blue. think my opponent's going to time out. Yeah. 7 seconds. Tough. This would have been pretty interesting to see how it finishes, but unfortunately that is gonna be it, which just happens sometimes. But look, it's definitely happened to me. I've definitely been there. And that's tough. But I didn't think we were in a position where I had to concede. I think we had some pretty good top decks to get there. Probably the best was a copy of Brutal Cathar, I think. But yeah, hey, I think that's a pretty good example of why you shouldn't be on your phone when you play Magic, because every minute can count, especially for a grindy matchup. I've definitely like texted a friend on stream, and then I've lost because I didn't have that, 10 to 15 seconds, which is pretty crazy. Yeah, there's definitely been some big ones, and like going into the red on MTGO does have an effect on you. There are times where I'll accidentally like skip combat, which we did in game 1, because of it, because I'm trying to click through too quickly, and like you miss lethal, which is crazy. I've definitely had times where I've ended the lost in my like end of combat step because I didn't attack. Yeah, it's fair. I guess it's always different for different players, but especially for me that plays like grindy, like no like win condition other than the depths decks, it can be tough to like be like, oh, okay, I gotta actually find a way to win in the next 5 minutes. Yeah, TNN a pretty good way to win games. Cool to see more people trying out Grixis with this new enchantment, which is pretty cool. It's pretty powerful as well. Exiling your own graveyard is interesting in a deck that used to play Kolaghan's Command and Snapcaster Mage, but I would assume there's a new build that can kind of play around with that to an extent, which is nice. Alright, Weak Rider. Really nice hand. Yeah, pretty happy to keep this. Has some great stuff against combo, some great stuff against fair decks. Mana's here, which is nice. Can also go for a basic off the Marsh Flats. Opponent mulligan to 6. All right. Taiga. It could be lands with a slow take. I don't really want to wasteland here. I'd rather play out a spell. I think being proactive here is a little bit better. Top 5 decks post-ban. From like a competitive standpoint, Blue-Red Delver, Doomsday, Yorion D&T. I think Lands is up there. I mean, Lands has won 2 challenges in the last 3 weeks, which is cool. I think Lands is tough because it has like a small like player base, but I think that a lot of those players are really experienced with the deck. So Lands is one that like I don't think it's a deck that you could just like pick up and win with, but I think like the right players can do the job. And then the fifth is like probably like a Bant or Jeskai, like mid-range deck. Maybe one of the I guess 8cast is also up there. It's pretty good. I think there's like a lot of nice decks. What do you think, Jack? Yeah, 8cast is very good. But once 8cast gets very good, it's a lot easier to hate out on it in a way. Like Meltdown's obviously very strong, Seeds of Innocence is strong. Maybe running like Supreme Verdict in your main deck if you're really worried about the big Cannoneer. What is this? Goblins. Interesting. I didn't expect goblins. Yeah, Naya Depths is up there as well. Huh. I think here it's just going to be Aspirant on itself and pass. Thalia doesn't really stop much. The first strike is relevant though. And then getting Thalia up to an X2 is kind of cool, but getting this Luminarch up to just a massive creature is also relevant, so I'm going to play a Wasteland. I think it might just be Thalia because of the first strike. But getting Aspirant up is pretty nice as well. It could be Food Chain. Interesting. I think if it is the Food Chain version, because of the Taiga, maybe I should have known that. I think Thalia here is just better. And then we can double Wasteland next turn. Or Wasteland Luminarch. A few options, which is cool. Matron. Okay. Trashmaster. That's going to be fine. I wonder if they're trying to go for a... Mum's actually a really nice draw here, because now I'm more than happy to double Wasteland and play Mum. The question is, do I want to take them off black, or take them off green and then one source of black? I'm happy to take them off the green, and then probably just one source of black. I'm not too sure what I'm scared of in black. Alright, 5 cards in hand, one is Trashmaster. Hey, Legacy Councils. And Punishing Waterfalls. I really liked your write-up on 8 Mulch. Very cool. A lot of respect. Twin Shot. That is fine. I think here, again, I'm happy just to Wasteland the colored source and keep them with the port. And then next turn we can Luminarch Aspirant. Floating a mana. They can't cast Vial because of Thalia. What are they doing? Oh, this is just your content as accessory? Okay. Well, good content. I love the content. Ah, another loot. Another... Interesting. I'm pretty happy to get aggressive here. Especially when they're not on like double colorless source or double colored source. And the more goblins they lose, the worse Munitions Expert gets over time, especially with this Luminarch Aspirant ticking up. Yeah, this is more than fine. Hey Haim, welcome. Hope you're well. Another Sentinel. I'm just going to cast these. To be fair, I probably could have cast the Kitesail Freebooter just to see if we could see a food chain in their deck, but I don't think it really changes how we sideboard. But it's kind of looking like it's just normal goblins that didn't have a lucky start. Okay. Yeah. They let us see it first, which sometimes happens on a MTGO when you just have 6, but it does look like it's just a normal kind of goblins deck. Alright. I like the Commandos, I like the Pontiff. That's probably it. I don't mind Kambal as just a 2/3 body, but I think there's some pretty easy things we can take out. I don't think like Kitesail isn't that great, unfortunately. You could hit like a Pyrokinesis, but that's really all you're going to be hitting. I don't mind Thalia, even just as a first striking creature. Like if we take out these Kitesails, there's not too much to bring in. Like, it might just be a Kambal, because it's a 2/3 body that can gain life, and we can also save it with Karakas. Kind of like how some of the older, like, Jeskai decks used to bring in Containment Priest just to have a body against some other control decks. Hey, it's Ibby. Thanks for the Prime sub. A huge thank you. Too kind. Hope you're doing well. I like this hand. It isn't great against the turn 1 Lackey, but Humans doesn't have a great answer to turn 1 Lackey other than having multiple 1-drops. But even then, there's just so many ways to deal with a 1/1 creature on my end that I think I'm happy just to keep a hand that has a pretty nice plan. Okay. Our own Vial would be a good draw, and we drew it, so pretty happy for that. I'm going to play the Plains because it can't be hit by Wasteland. It's Ibby. What's happening? Where are you from? Do you play Legacy? If you do, what is it like in your local Legacy scene? You can definitely post your Jun list. I'd love to see your Jun list. Hey, Jerry, there he is. There he is, my man. Haha, good to see you. So I assume here we're going to see a tick down on the Plains, which is a little bit awkward. Are you from Sydney? Very cool. Alright. This is the tough point, because I can only assume this Vial's gonna tap. Yeah. Like, please be Skirk Prospector. Hey, Runcore. It is Score! Yes! Okay. We're not out of the woods yet, but Really nice for that not to be lackey. But they're getting pretty close to Muxus. Like if they have a Mog War Marshal, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana for Murktide. I wonder if they go for a Goblin. They get a Munitions Expert. Interesting. Legacy Tribal decks. Yeah, Gobbos. I would say Elves is the strongest one at the moment. If you want to play a Tribal deck, like, I guess Death and Taxes is like the same sort of gameplay, which is nice. Hey Haim, thanks for the follow. I'll check out your Jun list in between matches. I think I'm keen just to Pontiff here and trade these away because I really don't want Munitions Expert coming down. Yeah, so I think in response to the Munitions Expert, after this occurs, we can then put in the Thalia and then haunt the Thalia. I think that's how it will work. Kind of a 1-for-1 trade because Matron already got Munitions Expert. Alright, so we see the Expert. It targets this. I will just put in the Thalia. The first strike also relevant against like a 4-drop Goblin Ringleader. And Haunt's a really interesting... yeah, so now I get to hit the Thalia, and then when the Thalia dies, the effect happens again. Yeah, Legendary Thalia is really nice here if I really want it. That's actually a great point. So we can keep the Vial on 2. A little bit awkward because it means we don't want to play the General. Oh, we can play the General. Yeah, because it just Legend rules when it like neg-1, neg-1ing. Yeah, I kind of wish I got into Magic a little bit earlier when sets like this came out. Yeah, haunting the creature with the sack effect's pretty good as well. I guess my only thought was I didn't want to... Matron. Played the Cathar without having mana up, but it probably doesn't matter if it's haunted because you're getting value off it anyway. Moto content was the way. Crater Maker, okay. I wonder if they just go after the Vial here. Sure. Seeing they're on 3 mana, I don't mind keeping them off the Vial here. And therefore playing Cathar and just hitting the Vial while it's tapped out. It also sucks if they hit like a ringleader next turn and then have all that mana to use off it. I'm not going to attack either. I don't think. Yeah. I think I'm pretty happy just kind of controlling the board before I can start deploying even 2 spells next turn, potentially Cathar and General, or General holding up Cathar. Okay. I'm going to assume they're not playing Blood Moon, but there is a world where I want to fetch out Swamp. And then just make sure I have that mana open. General. Now I'm pretty happy to start attacking. Especially with Haunt on first strike's a little bit rough because it means that their creatures are probably never killing the Thalia in combat, so keeping it behind to like trade off with a creature like War Chief and then trying to assemble that ability to take them off their X1s is a little bit tough. I wonder if they run Fury. Twin shot. Okay. I assume this goes after the mum. I wonder if they hold the Wasteland for like a Caracas. Yeah, and don't even cast it. Champion's pretty nice here. Pretty happy just to attack with just Thalia. I'm just going to hold up Cathar here. I can actually sack it to hit the twin shot, which is kind of nice. I don't think I want to sack the Thalia or lose the Thalia just yet to get rid of the Matron and the Munitions Expert. But it's getting close. Especially for like another Munitions Expert off the top. It'd be a little bit awkward. Pashalik Mons. Pile driver. Okay. They have 1 card left. Is Black-White Humans better than 5 color? Definitely an interesting point because I don't think the mana base is too bad for 5 colors because you have all of the kind of rainbow lands. There are some pretty cool cards you get with other colors. Like you could play like a recruiter package or a Yeah, recruiter package to find stuff. But I guess the only reason I've gone with white-black tonight is that I know Eddie's been doing well with it, and Reaple Cheap also put up some solid results with it. And black-white does have, like, you get access to all the colors you essentially need, which is kind of cool. Esper Sentinel. They're at 14. I think, again, I'm happy just to attack with the Thalia. I don't really want to trade the champion just yet to, like, a twin shot and Pashalik Mons. There's a world where I could have played this Thalia pre-combat, made the champion a 5/5 and attacked with it instead. Which would have also made a lot of their creatures smaller, seeing they would have had -1, -1. Yeah, I can definitely understand the music sounding like Super Mario, that's for sure. I think I'm still happy to keep the Thalia. But it could come back to bite me. Just want to get like one more creature. Hey, dear dad. I like the name. I like the name a lot. Hope you're doing well. Another War Chief is fine. That does make spells a lot cheaper. So, like, they can now cast a Muxus in hand. Alright, really want to draw a Lieutenant here. Lieutenant would be another Thalia. I guess if we attack with the champion this turn, and they block with like a 2/2 and a 2/3, then the Haunt ability can finish off that, which is kind of nice. So I don't mind attacking in that way. Probably even the Cathar, because if they block in a weird way, I can just sack it to the twin shot. There's a world where I should attack with the Cathar as well. Yeah, I think Soldiers is also an interesting deck as well, because it got things like Esper Sentinel, which you could run like a Chalice-less version that runs Esper Sentinel, but you already run things like Cavernous Souls, so Chalice isn't too bad. And Chalice does still lead to some wins where it's like a little bit awkward. I guess this is also something I should have thought about, is that the Haunt is just worse if they lose their 1/1 creatures. Yeah, I feel like the only card they can have in hand is a Muxus. Oh, any target? I didn't see this either. I should have definitely thought about this, because now they can kill the general, which is pretty tough. What's Haunt? So Haunt is on a few cards. This is the main one you'll see, or maybe not these days, but Haunt is when this creature dies, exile it haunting target creature, which pretty much means that when Thalia, that now has Haunt, goes to the graveyard, the ability will trigger again. So I get another chance to either give my creatures +1/+1 or their creatures -1/-1. I guess I might as well buff mine. But yeah, really cool. I'm not sure what you call Haunt. Haunt is a triggered ability. There we go. But yeah, now I really need an Anthem effect now, because trading with 1/1 tokens is not a great feeling. No Plague, but we do have Orzhov Pontiff, which is quite nice. Scrubland. I don't think it's worth even playing out the Thalia. Like, there's a world where we can draw into a Lord and get it down as a X2, potentially. They're at 5, so... Pashalik just really strong here. We do have a few good outs to it, but... I mean, the ability just to sack tokens and deal with our creatures is pretty tough. Kind of just want to like see a Muxus and like see the game end. Hey, thanks, money. I will stay hydrated. There's no targets. I guess there is on my own creature, but yeah. I mean, a Pontiff could even just kill me. Questing Beast would be sweet. Very true. The tough thing as well is my opponent's just been drawing cards this whole time and just not been using it. Like now they just get to attack with everything, and that's pretty much lethal. 2, 4, yeah, 6, 9. I got a 2, and I don't really have an out because like, yeah, I don't have an out because even if I draw Oars of Pontiff, the Passionate kills me. If I draw Caracas, it's not good either. Did someone potentially put a Batterskull into the deck? That doesn't really work either because they can just sack the creature that I block. Yeah. Passionate just really throwing its weight around. I like how they have a foil version of Skirk Prospector in the deck. I feel like that's a flavor win. I feel like if there's anyone that's going to be foil, it's going to be Skirk Prospector. As like they find that little gem. But yeah, Passionate tricky. We do have a lot of good outs though. We have Caracas, we have Castle, we have the Exile creature, which is cool. All right. I don't think we even change boarding. I think we just run it back. Like, the extra Thalia is kind of lame. I don't mind Kite Sail as just a flyer as well to get over some stuff. Maybe like... Yeah. Thalia is just there for the first strike, and just because it's better than anything else in the sideboard. A pretty awkward hand. It's good with the mums, but... having just the Scrubland is kind of tough. Definitely interesting. Chat, what do you think? Is this a trap? I feel like it's a trap. I think against goblins, I'd rather get my creatures bigger first. So something like a champion into like second champion Wasteland, or Esper Sentinel into like a growth effect would be cool. Yeah, especially against goblins, they have such a good mana denial strategy that I don't want to get caught up there. Well, we have mana, which is nice. We can go off basics as well, so I don't really want to go down to 5. I'm going to drop a Caracas. It is interesting though, because Caracas does play somewhat of a part in this matchup, and Wasteland is a thing, but I think dropping a Caracas is fine. Or just going for basic planes into Mum. And hoping that triple Mum is just what I need. Cavern I don't care about now because we found the black mana for Orzhov, so I'm just going to play the Cavern here. Name human. Play Mum. Play Mum. Wasteland's okay. This is more than fine. Yeah, I would have potentially kept the Wasteland there so you could bluff attacking with Lackey and then having like the new damage spell, but obviously that isn't what's in their wheelhouse. Thalia's Lieutenant here would be cool. General Kudos isn't too bad either, let's be honest. The question is, do I have an attack? I think I have an attack here. I don't believe Goblins runs anything like Chain Whirler, so it's really going to be Fury potentially. That could be a blowout. Even Port here is kind of annoying. Luckily the deck does have a lot of 2-drops we can just draw into. Wow, they don't Port? I will play the Caracas because I want to draw into a land and play it next turn to get the General into play. But no attacks now. Play a little bit defensively. Opponent also on half the time, so... Wasteland's pretty good. I mean, Wasteland the Caracas and then Port me really keeps me off getting this General into play. Or really casting anything. Wasteland here and Port turns off the ability to draw into a 2-drop and get it into play either. Okay. That's actually pretty interesting. But I think I just want it. I'd rather see if they hold up Port. It's tough though, because if I have the Wasteland, they most likely don't hold up Port and just use their mana, so I might as well Wasteland the Port. Unless if they have another Port, then it sucks, because then in end step I can't Wasteland that Port. I could also keep it as a mana in case we draw into a white source, but I think I'm actually pretty happy to take them off like the Taiga. Because next turn we're getting Vial to 2 anyway to cast a 2-drop. Yeah, takes them off that that Goblin as well. That allows them to deal 2. No 2-drop. Yeah, the Vial really strong here. Yeah, Cathar would be nice, especially because it means we can just put it in off Vial and then also have the 1 mana up for it. But like Matron here into Muxus is pretty tough. Wow, no 3-drop. I didn't expect that. I'm pretty happy just to block Lackey here. I don't think I need to respond to this. It could be Trashmaster potentially. Sure. I guess there's no real reason not to double block. Will they sack and hit the vial? That's the big question. I could see that. Yeah. This feels like Muxus. Which is going to be pretty brutal. And again, just one of those hands where like protection isn't really doing much. You're really rather having a pretty aggressive hand. File to 5 could be Fury, or they could just be trying to get to Muxus off the Vial. Hey, Luca Boring, welcome. They play the second Vial, interesting, so they're not going for that. If they tap planes here, I think I want to draw a card to try to draw towards Caracas potentially. Ah, well, in that case, I think here I'm happy just to draw a card and then play the champion, most likely. Or Vial. Vial is worse because of the Trashmaster. They could have like end step Fury, tap our mums, and then untap Muxus, but no. Definitely come down to the wire, which is always pretty fun. All right, Muxus, what do you hit? Not too much, which is good for us. But these things do have haste. They go to kill the general. I think I will try to protect this, giving pro red so it can also block quite well. Looks like they're going to try to pay costs here. Another munitions expert. Okay. I think sadly it's going to go to time. And it will. Wow, 2 games by time. I have no words. I have no words. Unfortunate. That is my word. Look, maybe mums are the way to win that game. That's pretty classic. That is... yeah, that is very interesting. Hey, Haim. I should be able to find it, sorry. 1 second. Oh, it's Jund Death Shadow. Interesting. On the play, which is nice, and this hand is a one-lander with Vial, but pretty happy to go with it. So this is a Jund Phoenix deck, which is pretty sweet. I'm pretty happy here just to get a basic as well. A second land would be really nice, so I could definitely cast a spell next turn as well, but we can see how this unfolds. Flooded Strand is not what I want to see because of Prismatic Ending. And there's a good reason not to keep a one-lander. Oh, Ponder. Okay. The nice thing about Jund Phoenix, and for those of you looking for the deck list, come on, land. Booyah. They chose to not shuffle, which is interesting with their library. I think I'm still pretty happy just to try to run out the Thalia here. We have a lot of spells to cast, and Thalia hitting the board is just huge, so can't be too unhappy with that. And at least if they try to use like a Sword Splash on Thalia here, the Mother of Runes is most likely surviving, because it does cost 2 to actually get rid of the Thalia. Interesting, they go after that. Wasteland would be pretty sweet here because they're making Luminarch and Wasteland. Kudra not the greatest, but I'll allow it. And here I'm pretty happy just to build up the Thalia and get in for an extra damage, and then next turn the Luminarch. Just a fetch land. Sentinel. I will cast Sentinel first to see if they do anything in response. Nothing. Wonder what they have. Oh, no, I probably should have played around Endurance a little bit, but like Hull Breacher I'm not too unhappy for here. This is actually an interesting spot, because do I care about the Luminarch Aspirant? Because there is a world where I just keep the Mum untapped, so in their turn they can't remove either the Thalia or Esper Sentinel. I don't think I really care about it. Hey, surely it's Brad, welcome. So why wouldn't I want to use the Mum here? I don't want to use the Mum because if they untap, then they have free will at removing stuff. And there is a world where I just don't care about this Luminarch Aspirant. Especially if we draw into a third land. We have the General to do similar things. Then I'm probably happy just allowing this. And I think because they're kind of in desperation here, like blocking pretty unfavorably with a Hull Breacher at 12 life means they probably have removal in hand and want me to tap off the Mum, so pretty happy not keeping the Aspirant alive there. And just really taxing their ability to do anything. There we go. Pretty happy just to get a basic here. Cast General. So they're going to pay 2 to force it. Oh, they're going to try to swords. Mum. Okay. Well, in response, I'm pretty happy just to try to save the mum. They have another swords? Sure. Well, now we just get to attack with the Esper Sentinel, which is quite nice for 2. And also take out probably just the swords here. Kind of tough if they have like a Snapcaster Mage because there's double sword, but I think that's okay. The only reason that I like to get rid of the swords over ending is that I don't really care about anything other than humans right now, or creatures. And this could potentially make my opponent have to spend more mana on it than just the swords being 1 mana. Like if they want to get rid of the general, and we get to get rid of this Swords to Plowshares. Interesting, they used the ending there, not on the mom. Jeez. Alright. That's pretty nice. Happy to start with Thalia. Trigger, hit the sword. And then probably just take them off green here. I don't really care about the extra damage on the extra mana on my side because we have like 3 mana for our 3-drops anyway. What's this? Yeah, rough. I mean, that was like, you know, prismatic ending is a thing, but we just beat like triple prismatic, double sword. Mother of Runes, I tell you. Bant. Bant is going to be an interesting one. I guess it was 4 color. It was playing Days Undoing. Or at least it was playing Hull Breacher. I do like the Kambals. I don't think we need the Pontiffs. I think that's a pretty easy switch. That could potentially just be it. I don't think we need the ley lines. Cathar's definitely interesting as a way to get rid of like... They're probably not playing Back to Basics or Blood Moon anyway because they're on 4 color. So I probably don't really care about the Cathars, but it might be worth it just to have 1 in the deck over something like Brutal Cathar. I don't mind this. Yeah, the only thing is ley lines, but I don't really think it's worth it just for like an Uro or like Snapcaster if they're playing it. This is a pretty nice hand. Pretty happy to keep this. Turn 1 Mum into turn 2 Kite Sail. And then Lieutenants to really get like pressure going as well. Island Ponder. Ponder chose to shuffle. They went for a basic as well, which makes me think they're looking for lands. It's a really nice draw. This also pressures them to have white source and removal, which I assume they do have removal here. I think I just like getting Thalia down here, because with Thalia on board, they can't currently remove it, so they have to untap and remove it, and they're not going to untap and be able to play a 3-drop like Narset or something, so pretty happy to get the Thalia down. and then next turn we can potentially, hopefully draw a land and then just champion and kite sail. Wow, they're digging for lands. Nice, and they're going to miss one here. Consult, alright. Pretty happy to kite sail here and see if we can take like a cantrip potentially. Alright, so they have the Days Undoing. They have Swords to Plowshares. They have Hull Breacher. Interesting. So now this is actually an interesting spot because we can either take them off the combo by taking Days Undoing, or we can take them off removal in Swords to Plowshares, or take them off a way to dig for more gas in Expressive Iteration. But I feel like taking them off Days Undoing is just the better play than taking Expressive. So it's really between Swords and Days Undoing. I think it's Swords as well. Like if they go land, and like be able to like end step Hull Breacher and then Days Undoing. It is tough, but Swords takes a fair bit of the pressure off. Yeah, I like Swords as well. I like the message that it sends. Combo seems pretty slow. Yeah, that's very true. Okay. We get to attack first. And then just double champion. And then next turn, Lieutenant. Which is pretty damn close to lethal. They're nearly in a position where if they draw a land, they might have to chump block. Wow. Like, it's really like Terminus potentially to get them out of this. But then they're still not drawing a land. Yeah. That's a tough one. So they kept either a 1-lander or 2-lander with a Ponder and a Shark Typhoon to cycle. And that's 6 turns. Yeah. Brutal. Haim. This list looks sweet. Arc like Phoenix, so of course you want the abundant growth. I guess the big thing that this deck isn't playing is Dark Ritual? Or is that Dark Ritual? Okay, it does. Cool, yeah. I would assume it does because you want to be playing the like turn 1 Buried Alive kind of shenanigans. It's really cool to see a deck like this that runs so little land, but I guess with Land Grant as well, you don't really need that many. I'm not sure what the other builds are. I know that Callum Smith is a big fan of Shadow, or Phoenix deck, sorry. I don't think he played the Shadow versions though, which is kind of nice as like a backup as well. Especially against the decks that might bring in Graveyard Hate, it's nice to have the Shadows as a breakout. And Snuff Out's really strong, especially because it can deal with Murktide or anything really from blue-white or blue-red. But have you played it much? Yeah, you could also play Shenanigans. Shenanigans is pretty good because I believe it has Dredge 1, which is pretty nice. That kind of works with the deck, especially if you can set it up with Sylvan Library, which is cool. Hey, Luca Boring. A huge thank you for the sub. Always a pleasure. All right, let's get this music back. Get some stream beats going. But yeah, Phoenix is... I wish Phoenix saw more play. Phoenix is a really cool deck to watch, especially. All right, up against Little Sparrow. This is a pretty sweet hand. Turn 1 Vial. No turn 1 creature, but on the draw, I'm pretty happy to keep this. Phoenix in Modern was so fun. Yes. Yeah, I know a lot of people that played Phoenix that really enjoyed the deck. Lands feels like it would be a pretty tough matchup, especially the versions playing Endurance in the main deck. Field. Okay. This could be 8 Mulch. Pretty happy just to start with Land Vial. And hope that it isn't a version that's playing like Mana Bond. Okay. Tick this up. We get ported. Sure. Thalia. Cavern is my black source, but I don't really care about it. I think the Ajano I'm pretty happy just to play. Because I don't think it's going to be relevant in this sort of matchup. It could hit a Reclaimer potentially, but I don't think Reclaimer will be attacking or blocking for some time. And we have the Brutal Cathar, so I'm actually just going to play the Ajano and pass. Yeah, it's really nice to have the Vial under the port, because we can just kind of build out our board as they port us. And having the General actually in this matchup is going to be strong, especially if they have a Loam. Wasteland. Okay. Tap down planes. Tick this up to 2. I think my plan is just going to be... I will still play the Cavern. Name Human. And then just Kite Sail at the end of their draw step. Crop, Exploration, Loam, Lightning Bolt. Okay, so they actually have the combo, which is a little bit scary. We do have the Brutal Cathar, which is nice. I don't really care about the Loam because we have the General. I don't really care about the Bolt, but it could be annoying. I think it might be the Exploration. Yeah, maybe crop into like a Tabernacle is what I'm really scared of. So it could be crop. So they played that. So they have 4 cards, and those are the 4 cards. Quick look. Next time they probably just play the Dark Depths and pass, even if they draw a green source. They will tap us down this turn, but we still get to play a 2-drop, so... Does our Cathar kill Depths? Exile target creature an opponent controls. Yes, it does. Which is quite nice. I think I will take it up to 3. Because I still get to play a 2-drop this turn. I could double Lord. I'm going to play the Thalia. And then we can still Lord. I should have also... I guess it doesn't matter because there's only one card in the bin, but I will put General in before blocks. Take out the Wasteland. I guess Thalia over Lieutenant gives me an extra damage next turn. They play Ghost Quarter. Interesting. Oh, that's true. Yeah, maybe the Lieutenant was better. This is no longer going up. Wasteland, okay. Yeah, it did text the loam, which is nice, which means they can't port us this turn, which isn't too relevant, but... we can definitely slow them down this turn. Yeah, I think we just take out the... I guess we don't even like need to play use the Wasteland here. Like, I could play this Thalia as well and just sack it to get an extra counter, but yeah, pretty happy just to hold up Wasteland here, attack, and then have up Brutal Cathar and also Wasteland. Especially if they draw into like a Tabernacle or something, I want to have that available as well. Sideboarding is going to be pretty interesting. Oh, pretty easy, sorry. Leylines and Cathars are what I really want. I don't want the Pontiffs. I don't mind dropping down on Thalias and probably just down on Kite Sails. Lieutenant Thalias, Luminarchs, Brutal Cathar, General. It could just be Thalias. I think it might just be Thalias. Yeah, Kite Snails can actually hit Loams, that's true. Kataki's nice against like the 8-cast decks, but against something like just Mox Diamond, I don't think it's worth it. I think this is pretty good. Yeah, that's very true. Hey, Reaple. Nice work on the 5-0 with Black-White Humans. Yeah, I think I straight away just thought that like, oh, lands, of course, just is pretty explosive. It gets everything into play straight away. But, of course, Loam comes back to hand. And being a flyer is also pretty relevant. So I think this is pretty fine. Double Leyline hand. It's a double Leyline hand with a turn 1 creature and a turn 2 creature, which is nice. The only question is, like, could I afford to just play one Leyline and then keep one in hand for later? It's tough that, like, the second Leyline doesn't really do anything because of Force of Vigor just hitting both, but... that's true. If they have Beseiju, then it's better to play both. Champion. Okay. Champion's pretty nice. Yeah, especially for like a damage race. Exploration. Tab. Okay. Annoying. I wonder if we try to just get there with these 2 champions over time. Wasteland would be brutal, but I think that trying to just rely on these champions for as long as possible isn't too bad. They find the Wasteland, okay. But they're not going to Wasteland us? Surely. No? Does that mean they have up the combo through a crop rotation? Which means we just attack first. And then thankfully they only have 1, 2, 3 mana. So they can't Wasteland Caracas and go off this turn. Unless they have double crop, which means they can first crop into Yavimaya. I think if I respected crop last turn, I have to respect crop this turn as well. Even though they can wasteland this Caracas. I'm happy to attack with both. And then probably just keep the wasteland up for now. Most likely hitting the Tabernacle. I could have also... I guess the Wasteland also means I could have played the Esper Sentinel. And it's tough because the Wasteland can take out the Tabernacle, but they can just copy it with the stage as well, so... Yeah. I don't want to get in a position where I just, like, cast a Sentinel and the next turn I have to sack it by not being able to pay for it. I don't think Wasteland on Tabernacle does anything here because they can hit it with Thespian Stage and just copy it. So there is a world where it's better just to Wasteland the Maze. Yeah, so at least if they copy the Maze, it's tapped for a turn. But the Tabernacle, of course, as a copy of... Or Thespian Stage as a copy, just is always there. But I do want to use the Wasteland. I don't want to get it needled. I guess there's a world where it's better just to keep the Wasteland and then play Thalia's Lieutenant next turn with the 4 mana. But it's close. Okay. They also didn't copy anything with the stage, which is interesting. At all. Blossom for 1 is pretty good. Probably means we don't even pay for the champions. No, I think we do, because I kind of want them to use the Blast Zone. Sure. I guess now we have the chance to Wasteland Tabernacle quite easily, which is quite nice. And then we have Caracas as an answer to Matlage. In a way, They can wasteland us, but tough spot. Because if we wasteland Tabernacle, it's quite nice to then unlock our mana. But if we lose the wasteland and then just have Karakas as a way to beat the 2020, then their wasteland beats our Karakas, and then if they have another mana and a crop, they can just go for it. And also, if I've been playing around crop this whole time, then it doesn't really make sense to wasteland the Tabernacle here, because they can just crop it away for something else, so... Yeah, the wasteland's also pretty interesting. I'd actually love to get a land here, so I could hold up Karakas and wasteland. Hey, it's unfair, welcome. I don't know if I'm casting anything here. I guess again, like they're on 1, 2, 3 mana, wasteland. Yeah, I actually can cast something here. And I'm gonna... yeah, I could have done this main phase 1, but... with how I tapped, I can't cast the Kite Sail, unfortunately. But yeah, definitely, yeah. Just kind of breezing through these turns without really thinking. And I think, like, even this is a pretty poor play because I don't get the extra damage in during combat. But it's cool to play humans again. Like, Decklist has been really nice. Like, mana's been pretty good. I wouldn't say autopilot. Like, I haven't played humans in a long time, so you're always going to be pretty rusty. You're going to float. They're going to try to copy the wasteland. This is fine. It is kind of nice that I don't play green anymore. That's very true. Yeah, I'm pretty happy just passing back here. Still nothing. I don't really care about Thalia's Lieutenant, I don't think, but it is interesting. I could play, yeah, play Freebooter this turn, and then attack for 4. Yeah, definitely main phase 1, because then we get the counter as well. Has Kudro's activated ability come up much? It has a little bit, which is nice. We got to get rid of a Grizzlebrand, which is pretty sweet. They're obviously cropping. I think if I'm gonna, like, if they have crop, I kind of want to take them off their green source. They can just, like, save the Thespian stage by copying the planes if I target it. This puts them in, like, an awkward spot of, like, either going for the combo or cropping for another green source. I guess they could get a... like Yavimaya if they want to tap the Tabernacle for mana. Saga, okay. We get to draw here. I think they'd rather hold up the Saga activation. It's a pretty good draw. And their Bolt. I think I'd rather just trade away for the Saga after they make a construct, so they can't copy it with this. So I'm not going to pay for the Thalia's Lieutenant in case I don't draw into a land. They didn't get a construct? Oh, they went to copy it. Ah, classic. Wow. I did not expect that. They do have green mana. So I wonder what they have in hand. I think it might just be Sentinel into Freebooter. I could also double spell. I'm gonna actually Freebooter first to see what's in hand, and then make my decision after that. It looks to just be a Bolt. Yeah, especially in this case, it means they can't bolt the other creature. Oh, it's a Force of Vigor. Classic. I actually like Aspirin here. It just becomes so big on it by itself that it could be quite hard to beat for my opponent. Yeah, this plays around like another Bolt off the top, but there is a world where I shouldn't go wide. You love to see it. Alright, well, now the pressure's on. Now I really gotta, yeah. I definitely put down the success of 4-0 to two people. One, Reeple Cheap, who's in chat, and did very well with a list recently. And then Eddie Zamora, who took the list, tuned it a little bit, and also 5-0'd. So really cool to see them do well. And hopefully I can get the Luminarch. It is pretty funny to win with a Luminarch there. There's a bit of controversy around that. Nice. Reeple, what made you play black-white humans? As someone that I would say does like a black deck. Value tag XJ, yeah. I think we just found some new tech for D&D. And I think XJ's really missed the mark on this one. Crazy. It was theory based on Sentinel. Yeah, I do like that this deck gets the most out of Sentinel in that you can buff it up, which is pretty cool. I do know, Jack. I do know that John does not like Luminarch Aspirant. For all the wrong reasons. I think it's because he got beaten by it so much that John took a hating to the card and has ever since declared he'll never play it. Basically, Sentinel over Hierarch wants Lords, not Recruiters. Yeah, I like that. That's really cool to see. And like, it's really cool. I didn't actually realize in both your mana bases, you're not playing any of the Rainbow lands, which makes sense because you don't really need them. And the addition of basics is actually really nice and has come up a fair bit tonight against Wasteland decks, where it's just nice to have the basics that you don't need. You're like a Jano Castle, you're like Ancient Ziggurats or your Unclaimed Territories. Well, then there's a new one, I believe, that's better than Ancient Ziggurat because you can actually tap it for mana to cast a Vial turn 1, which is pretty cool. Ah, that's very true as well. You can't use Castle or Siege of the Empire with those. Yeah, that's a really big one. This hasn't come up yet, but it's been nice to have. I will say that. All right, on the draw. This hand's pretty good. Like, it's got a great curve. A little bit of everything. Access to basics if I want it. Is it a Volk? Is it a Volk? It's an island. Okay. I think in this case, this is actually a tough one. Do I lead on Sentinel or do I lead on the Champion? I think if it's combo, I'm probably more likely to lead on the Champion because I don't want to draw into extra cards. I want to get more damage on the board. But they did choose to shuffle off the Ponder, so that's definitely worth mentioning. Punch faced is best, yeah. Doomsday here to crush our dreams. Kite Sail's really nice. Let's name human. All right, Jack. You're in Melbourne CBD. Where do you go for coffee? I need to know. It's like 5? Okay. I'm happy to have 5 names. BBB in the CBD. Oh, show and tell? Okay. They chose to shuffle, which makes me think they just drew either show and tell or what they need. I sadly can't untap and Cathar because of silent clearing. Because of yeah, only having that 1 mana. This is a tough one. This is a really tough one. I guess Kite Sail doesn't really do anything because they can just Cunning Wish in response anyway. That I think it is just Cathar and Prey, yeah. I think that's just the best play. Oh, okay. Okay. All right. I mean, they get to draw a lot of cards here, but they will have to discard if they do. Yeah, Thalia and Cavern is really going to slow them down, which is great. We get to attack for 5. I mean, it's just got to be Kite Sail, right? When this creature enters the battlefield or transforms, exile target creature and opponent controls until this creature leaves the battlefield. So I assume, like, if we let it flip, they get the Grizzlebrand back, but then we... How does that work with Legended? I need to flip it twice? Ah, okay. Now we're in an interesting spot. They don't get it. Oh, they don't get it back? I think it's going to be Brainstorm here. Just digs a little bit deeper. So we know about these cards. 2, 4. General. General doesn't really change anything, I don't think. I could draw a card and then see if I draw into Caracas, but I played a land and I didn't mean to. Wow, they're paying. Nuts. Yeah, why'd they pay? That is really aggressive. But yeah, I should definitely go back because, to be fair, I don't really understand this card. I should, and I know it's there on the card, but I should know better. Deafening Silence. Seeing the red makes me want to have Cathar, even, I guess, with Omniscience as well. Cabals are easy switches for the Pontiffs. Champion, Esper, Mum. Mind Breaks are tricky. I think I can take out a General. Yeah, I don't think the trap... I think the traps are literally a trap in this case. I don't think I can afford either to go down on a seat. I could see myself just trimming. Like, maybe aspirants aren't where I want to be. Yeah, Mum does seem pretty weak. I don't mind like one mum in case they're playing Pyroclasm. And then it might just be some sort of Anthem effect. It could just be General. I think just having the one General is fine. I think if I drew 2 Generals, I'd be pretty upset. I think like the two Generals for 2 Kambals or like 2 Orzhovs for 2 Kambals is pretty good, so... See how this goes. See how this goes. I don't think this is good enough, but double Brutal Cathar is quite nice. Yeah, I feel like there's a better hand with like a turn 2 Thalia or Kite Sail. Tough. Okay. We don't have white mana, but I'm not going to go to 4. It's going to be a Kite Sail. Actually, it could just be like... Thalia Esper? Yeah, I think keeping both, keeping this 4 and then one of these. I think turn 1 Deafening Silence is like if we draw a white source, the Deafening Silence is just so strong that it's probably between one of these. Opponent's gone to 6. I think I'd rather have the creature. It's tough though. We do have 4 Sentinels and only 2 Deafening Silence. I think the silence is fine. Playing out the pedal to play around a taxing effect, like Deafening Silence. I feel like I just have land show and tell. If they played out the pedal early. Oh. Okay. At least the brainstorm now means it's not a brainstorm in response. Oh, they're passing? So they're also brainstorm locked, which is nice. I think here I'm happy just to slam a Kite Sail. Okay. Definitely taking the Pyroclasm. And this sets up the other Kite Sail, which is nice. They hit another pedal. Okay. Oh my gosh. Sneak players. You love to see it. That was a very interesting league. Yeah, there was some pretty funny endings there. That was we didn't really have a clock. I don't know what my opponent was really thinking, but obviously they just didn't want to have a go of it. And that is 100% their prerogative, so we're just happy to get a trophy, which is cool. I mean, it's really nice to see Runkle get a trophy, and then Eddie get a trophy, and yeah, now we get a trophy. So look at that. Humans doing pretty well, which is nice. Deck was really cool as well. Let's go to DeckTech. Thanks, Jack. Yeah, deck was sweet. Brutal Cathar was pretty nice. I think just getting like a better basic understanding of it would be good as well. But yeah, really showed its weight in this this league, which is cool. I also like just the little numbers as well. Like 2 Luminarchs felt really nice. The Pontiffs we didn't really see, but when we did, they were pretty good against Goblins. They got a few 2-for-1s or just kind of took some creatures out of the way, which is nice. So whenever it flips back to the front side, it exiles another creature. And you just keep them until it leaves the battlefield. Ah, gotcha. Okay. Gotcha. Nice. Okay. Yeah, I mean, honestly, like, I would not change a thing, really. We didn't have much for other fair decks, but, like, we have the Pontiff in the sideboard, which is nice, and the Katakis against the decks where it matters. And I guess a lot of fair decks are running a lot of artifacts or enchantments, so Cathar's pretty cool there as well. Which is nice, but, yeah, that's gonna be me, guys. If you guys want to find me on YouTube, you can find me here. If you go there and sub, which is free, it'd be very cool. I'm very close to 2K followers, which would be very cool to break. And of course, this will be going back up if you didn't catch the whole league. I'm gonna quickly see who else is streaming, but yeah, really cool to get that little trophy. Vince is streaming, which is really nice. So we're gonna raid Vince, of course. A huge thank you once again. Yeah, I hope you're all doing well. Thanks to Rebel Cheap for the list, and also to Eddie, who's been putting some time into the deck. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, you guys have a good one. Have a great week. Have a great weekend. And I will be back probably on Sunday morning. But I will be putting up some other content tonight on YouTube, so definitely check that out. And I'll see you there. Cheers.